Sorry. Hey everybody, welcome to Show It Live here on showit2.com. I'm Field Denny and this is Elizabeth Langford.
Good morning!
Yeah, it is a good morning. It is.
Yes.
It is. Computers aren't always playing super nice for us, but
No.
It is a great morning.
Yes, it is.
We are slowly recovering and healing from a big adventure. You'll see we got some trophies.
We do.
We got some trophies out here. Over the weekend, we had an extended weekend. And as a team of Show It, our spouses and everybody, we got together and we traveled up north in Arizona to have a rustic adventure.
It was so much fun.
Yes, yeah. And here at Show It, we're not very competitive. We don't have trophies. We don't, we don't have boards with stickers and stuff up on them.
We're ultra competitive.
We're ultra competitive, yeah. So while we were at our rustic adventure, Todd put together this great octathlon, which is an 8-legged
race.
Race of sorts.
Yeah, in honor of spiders.
Yeah, challenges. We split up into teams. Like a good team would do, we divided, very divisive. We split up
and then we conquered.
On colors, green and brown.
Go green!
And then, no. And then, so anyways, we had a lot of fun.
Yes,
yeah, and in that we had some great challenges, and so we have a nice little video that'll kind of give you the highlights or lowlights in one particular
for those who did not win.
Spot of our rustic adventure. So sit back and enjoy.
Too short, it's passing by. So if I'm gonna go it all, go big or go. Go big or go home. 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 We're gonna go it all. Go big or go. Go big or go home. 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 Go big or go home.
So yeah, needless to say, and that was a little choppy there at the end. It was a high quality video.
It really was.
We shot it with the Hubble Space Telescope.
I think Todd started editing it in the vehicles on the way home.
Oh, for sure he did. Yeah. Then there's some stories that go along with that. So we have, we each kind of got a little trophy for different things that we do for Show It, and they're really fun. But there was a Rustic Cup. The Rustic Adventures had one final winner, and we happen to have that winner with us today. So Christian Peterson, everybody, round of applause for the winner of the 2015 Show It Rustic Cup.
Rusty Cup?
Rusty Cup?
Rustic Cup?
Rustic Cup.
You get to enjoy this honor for about a year.
At least a year.
And then we're going to work on
super excited for.
So what is a Rustic Cup?
So you saw some of the events that were taking place. Liz and I were on the same team. We were part of the green team.
And I was part of Code Brown.
Yep. And so at the end of the weekend, the team disbanded, unfortunately, and we went to individual competition.
It became like Hunger Games.
Yeah. No one was voted out, but it was by process of elimination. There was a true winner.
Yes,
there was.
And it yielded this trophy here, which is... It's a good size.
It's significantly larger than my trophy.
Yeah.
And as I was sitting off stage, there's actually candy inside it, and I was slowly eating candy.
Am I allowed to touch it?
Yeah, that's fine.
There's no more candy.
No, I ate it all. I was really excited to be on the show. So I feel like I was just here, though, which is funny.
Yeah. Right? Have you done the traditional things with it? Eaten steak out of it?
No, well, steak in a bowl. I don't know anybody who does that.
With rice?
Well, a burrito bowl.
I guess. Yeah, there you go.
Sure.
Boom. Thanks.
I had Frosted Flakes this morning. Out of there.
They're great.
Yep. Breakfast of champions. And yesterday, Field and I actually had lunch together. And I brought that to the restaurant just to set it on the table. I put it in between us because I knew there was like bad blood because he lost it.
He's still fuming a little.
We didn't really say anything during dinner. He was just like staring at this, eating slowly and mumbling to himself, like
prepping myself for next year.
Exactly.
I'm not a sore loser. I'm just a much more gracious winner.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you're ultra sore loser.
Yeah.
Like how ultra competitive we are.
No. It was
We're excited.
It was quite the experience.
Yeah.
Lots of fun and exciting games. The last one was fun. People got sent to the ER.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the true winner was my wife, Angela. She is 22 weeks pregnant. I hope that's the right number. In the 20s.
If not, we'll watch it next week and it'll be
in the 20s. She actually got a little dehydrated and sick, so we had to go into town, go to the hospital just to get fluids going. And Liz, like we said earlier, was on the green team. They decided to bow out gracefully and let Angela win the weekend and take home the cup, which is funny. I can't keep this in my house now, even though it's hers.
Yeah.
Everything else in the house is hers.
Yeah.
Right. And she said, "No, I don't want this. Put it on your desk."
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, if she needs a different place for it, I'll take it home.
That's fine. I mean, I'll keep it at my desk. It looks good where it is.
Yeah.
So,
Well, take it out of here because it's making me feel far inferior, and I'm pretty jealous already.
It's making your trophy look smaller.
It is,
and your trophy is a rabbit juggling numbers for those who can't see that.
Yeah, but I mean, before you showed up with your trophy, I was feeling pretty good. Now, I'm gonna go sit in the corner.
Which, if you explain what your trophy is, it makes it even better for me, but worse for you.
Yeah. So, well, like the fact that it's a bunny with math.
Well, no, like the reason you won it.
Oh yeah. So my trophy, I was actually titled Lord of the Games, because much like CEO Todd Watson, all I do is win.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it was we had a lot of there's a lot of hidden meaning behind all of our trophies, which is great. Except for this,
there's no hidden meaning there.
The hidden meaning is winner. So yeah, that was pretty great. Well, thank you, Christian, for doing that, and congratulations for winning the first annual show at Rustico.
Yeah, you're welcome. That was a hard
Enjoy
battle.
it while it lasts.
Yeah, if you guys want to congratulate Christian, hop in live chat today. Hop in support live chat. Come at him with all sorts of terrible, horrible problems that you have.
It'd be great.
And then at the end, just be like, "Oh yeah, congratulations, go Code Brown."
Go green!
No, don't do that.
So without further ado, we have a great guest on today all the way from Hawaii. Jenna Clark is joining us, and Jenna has an amazing show at site that we wanted to showcase and show off to you guys here. It's a gorgeous site. And just while we bring her on, we can take a look at all her beautiful
I love all the different sections. She does beautiful, beautiful work. And we were saying before the show that maybe she's cheating a little because she lives in Hawaii, but that's not actually true. She loves to travel and loves to shoot elopements, which we'll talk about a little bit here in just a moment. But I love her work, and I'm so excited that she's here with us today.
Too. Well, welcome, Jenna. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Very good. On a scale of good to very good.
Good to very, that's it. It's either good or very good. No, fine.
It's in between that.
It would be very good if he had a big golden cup.
Yeah, I was doing great.
Got it. I mean, I have to say that was a really large trophy. I mean, where would you put that? And then I'm concerned because he said he had a bowl of cereal in it. How big was that bowl of cereal?
He had a box of Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, a box of
Frosted Flakes. I judged my serving when I got to the bottom of the box. That's that's the way to do it. Well, welcome, Jenna. Jenna, tell us. So Jenna Clark is now a maiden name.
Yeah.
And
yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, because that's a fun story.
Yeah. So now I'm actually officially Jenna Hurd. As in, have you heard about the cats? Because everybody loves cats. I am my own ideal client. I am such a romantic. I met my husband 6 months ago. And we decided one day that we just wanted to get married. So we decided on a Wednesday. We were married the next Tuesday, and that was about a month ago. So yeah.
congratulations, Jenna Hurd.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, that is really exciting, and that's a really big deal.
Yeah.
It's awesome. We start every sentence now with, well, my husband.
Yeah, right?
So
just because you can.
Because you can. Oh, that's fantastic.
That never gets old, by the way. I mean, I've been married 11 years. You've been married 11 years. And I'm always like, oh, my wife, Carrie.
There you go. I didn't think I'm old enough to have a husband, but I do. And I have for quite a while. It's awesome.
Yeah, I also drive him crazy because he's phenomenally good looking. And I just went to Pride in New York, and I literally walked around with my phone, and I'm like, this is my husband. Do you see this? This is my husband. And I would FaceTime him, and all the gay men were just absolutely going crazy over him.
Like, are you sure he's your husband? One of those things, right?
That's awesome. So, Jenna, you live in Hawaii, right?
Yes.
And so you're out on the beach with your husband. That was obviously a beach shot.
Yes.
Of Mr. Hurd. What island do you live on?
I live on Oahu, the more busy city-like island.
Okay. And how did you come to be in Hawaii? Because I think there's a little backstory of how you ended up in the islands.
Yes, I was actually in the military. So I joined the military when I was 19. I got stationed here right off the bat. And I've been in Hawaii for 10 and a half years. So I did 6 years in the military. I've always had an extreme issue with authority, and that reflected in my military career. So I got out before I got kicked out and started my photography company.
That's so awesome. Well, if you have authority problems, military is the right place for you. That's where you really, that's where you can embrace it.
To deal with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But so that kind of aligns though with what you're talking about today in finding your ideal client and wanting to work with people that are like you. So I'm guessing your ideal client, probably not in the military.
You know, it's so funny. You would be surprised. I've had some really great clients that are in the military. I've shot probably 20, 30 weddings with military members.
Awesome.
So yeah, I mean, but it's also Hawaii. So we have such a huge military occupation here already. So there's a lot of military weddings to be had.
All right. So even though they are dealing with authority, that works for you.
Oh,
they'll let you be the authority.
That's their life. You know, if they want to take orders from somebody else, I don't care as long as my cable bill is paid. I mean, really, that's what matters.
Well, let's get right into this, because I think that you're uniquely you, which is super awesome. Like, there's no other Jenna Hurd on this planet that's like you. So let's talk about kind of how you came into this idea of how to attract the perfect clients, because you started off like we all do, where it's like, I want to take pretty pictures, right?
Yeah.
Right. So tell us a little bit about that.
I remember the exact day I decided I wanted to be a photographer. It was a Tuesday night, and it was 10 p.m. and I could not go to sleep because I didn't want to wake up. I was so miserable. And I've been married before, and I called my ex-husband, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was about to accept orders to get stationed in Washington and go onto a ship. And I was like, at the time I was 25, I was like, I can't do this. I was like, can I not stay in the military? And he goes, as long as you have a plan. I was like, of course I have a plan. I'll start a business. and I literally started my business with this idea that if I took pretty pictures and had a great company name, everything else just comes and falls like dominoes, right? That's how it works. The domino effect of awesomeness.
People just start handing you money. Oh my gosh, your pretty pictures, and you're so cute,
right? You just get that Business for Dummies book, and you're good.
What's funny though is I think a lot of people start off that way, like, oh, I do take really pretty pictures, and I have a fun business name, so.
That's all there is.
Shut up and give me your money. One of those, it's just.
It doesn't work like that though.
Apparently
long
not.
term, right? Like that's a really good short term plan.
Yeah, and the first couple years of my business, I guess I was kind of a true entrepreneur in the sense that I threw all I had into it. I mean, I worked 100+ hour weeks like any other small business owner starting up. But I was very confused. I was like, my work is so good. really wasn't. It really, really wasn't. But I thought it was. And I was like, why am I not, rolling in the dough? I was so confused.
So I think that's important to know. Taking pretty pictures isn't enough, right?
No, yeah. And I mean, eventually, so obviously, like every photographer, you practice enough, you get better at it. And even when my work was really good and it was getting published, I still was finding that I wasn't making the money that I wanted. I mean, here in Hawaii, they say most people in Hawaii have 2 to 3 jobs, actually. They say you need to be making around minimum $50,000 a year just to live comfortably, because rent is around $2,000, for a 2-bedroom. So I realized about a year and a half to 2 years into it, I was like, okay, I'm taking really good pictures, but I'm still not making what I need. I'm not surviving. I was in debt, unfortunately. And I realized pretty pictures is just not enough. It's just not, unfortunately. And so that's when I started working on my branding, and I decided to live authentically. And I remember actually the exact moment it clicked, and you're going to love this. It was United in 2012. Mm-hmm. And I remember we were at David J's house back when United and Show and Pass and everything was together. And I was sitting with Chad de Blasio and Shay Warman. And I'm crying. I'm crying in front of these people because they didn't want to go home. I was really miserable at home. I was like, I'm not making any money. I'm broke. I'm unhappy. I feel like people are going to judge me if they know who I am. And Shay turns to me and she goes, "You're awesome." She's like, "I want to be your friend." And then Chad was like, "You're awesome. Why wouldn't people, I'm totally paraphrasing, but Chad is the sweet, so I'm pretty sure that is what he said.
I know both of them. That sounds about right.
Yeah. And so I went home and he challenged me because I had done a week of Yes. I don't know if you had heard about that, but I did a week of Yes, and I got me into trouble a little bit that week. But he challenged me to write blogs, to open myself to people. Mm-hmm. And I did. I wrote this series called Jenna Honestly. It was a 5-part blog series through the month of, I think, March or April of 2012. And it changed everything for me. I literally opened up, and I'm not going to talk about what I talked about there. You can go and read it if you want. It is pretty sensitive, so it's not something I'm going to talk about today. But it's awesome. And I literally, I went from being $15,000 in debt and eating ramen to the next year, I was making almost 6 figures. And I really feel like being who I am attracted those ideal clients again and again and again to create the success that I have.
So let's talk about being who you are, because something that we see out there a lot is when people are starting up and they're trying to figure out who they are, they don't know. And so they see these trends and it's like, oh, I like burlap, I like mason jars, I like selective color, or whatever it is, and they're honest, they're being honest, like they like it, but it's not really who they are. So let's talk a little bit about trends.
That's okay. So I'm like the anti-hipster, I guess. Yeah. A rebel per se. I don't know. That makes me sound pompous. But when I started my first website, I'm now working on my 4th website currently. But my very first website that Rachel Earl built for me was chalkboard and wood, and I had taken the page out of Zach and Jody Gray, who back when they had their coffee themed branding, they said, we want to attract these types of people, and I was like, oh yeah, I want ranch weddings, and because there's beautiful ranches here. There's only like 3 in this particular island, but I stuck with chalkboard and wood, and frames and, how that boho fad was a few years ago, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me. You look at my house and you're like, where's your chalkboard? Where's your, I don't actually have any of that. It was not a true reflection of me. And that is actually when I was broke. It was, I wasn't making money. And when I sat down and really looked at branding and the psychology of colors and what I love, Rachel made another website for me, and I started making money. And then when she did my most recent website that you guys showed earlier, that's when it just took off. Because that was me. That was an infusion of my personality. And so it taught me that trends, yes, it will get you a few of those clients that will help you make money. But if your house is not covered in cardboard, oh my god. No, but if it's not covered in wood and chalkboard and things like that, why have that branding? And like right now the trend is film. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have film pictures all over your house, if it's not something that moves your soul, why are you doing it? Yes, it's fad. It's a fad right now, and it is. And film is not dead. It's still, field. You've been doing it for a while, I'm not knocking film by any means. But don't start film because everyone else is doing film. It's a hard thing. Mm-hmm. I don't do film. I don't want to get into that.
But it's a process to figure out who you are and what you like. And I think as artists, one of the things that I personally struggled with was I like a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. I have a certain way that, my house is styled and my clothes are styled, and those all kind of fit together. But I like some punk rock stuff. I think it's really cool. And I love leather. I don't wear it, but I love it. But then you have to decide like what is in my brand and sort of like process of elimination to curate who you are and not just who you think you should be. Because the reason that the coffee brand worked for Zach and Jody is that that's them and they live and die by coffee. And so it was really authentic to who they were. And I'm curious if you're in the chat today, if you want to share up with us how many versions of your website you've done. And it's great with show. I think I've had 17, you guys. You can have as many as you like, more than I can count with my fingers. You can have as many as you want, but it's not a good thing to keep changing all the time. But refining down to who you are, like Jenna has done, is really, it's kind of the process you have to go through. And I don't think most people come out the gate with the brand they're sort of going to end with, right? It's an evolution. No. Yeah. And you guys have changed. Ace and Wim has been an evolution. And even
used to be Carrie Denny Photography.
Finding your name was a real process that took years.
Yeah.
So everybody goes through it.
So definitely. And I think something that has come up with this trend and all of that, and like you said, you had like coffee and chalkboard or whatnot, is you don't want to imitate others, right? Just because you look up to them or you like them or you're like, oh man, I really like them and I like some of these things, like maybe I'll do mine a little bit like this. But emulating them is a little different.
Yes, totally. That's I came up with that phrase randomly last night, was don't imitate, emulate. And I think it's really great. I like everybody else. I have photographers that I love them, and I love their work. Like for me, my idols, Montana Dennis, Jeff Newsom. I'm currently obsessed with Hoffer photography. And I look at their work and I analyze their work. And I'm like, how did they do that? What can I do to get there? And I've also paid for mentoring with Montana and Jeff. I learned, Montana was kind enough to meet with me in LA a couple years ago, did a shoot with me, showed me how to interact with clients. I did one of Jeff's workshops earlier this year in Detroit in February. That was
It's cold. Detroit in February.
Yes, coming from Hawaii, man, I could not feel my fingers. I think the coldest it got was like 15 degrees one day, and I hadn't felt that. Anyways, it was, oh my God, it was
intense.
So what I do is after I study with them, I go, okay, well, what can I do to make this me? I don't want somebody to look at my work and go, oh, obviously that's something that Jeff from Montana would do, and I do take some of the ideas. I mean, at the end of the day, there is only so much innovation, you know, that can be had, especially with posing, you know. But I want to emulate them, but I want to make it my own. You know, they inspire me. They encourage me without knowing it for me to become better, to do better, to be better. But at the end of the day, I still have to be Jenna Hurd. I still have to be true to myself. And so I think that that's really important. And authenticity is, you know, who are you? What do you love? And figuring that out. It is totally fine. You know, say Jasmine Star is one of your idols. That's totally cool. But think, how can you be better than Jasmine? And it is possible if you strive to emulate. Emulate means to actually exceed. And so think of how you can become better and how to make it your own. Because there is, at the end of the day, we are unique, just like everybody else. And so you want to make your brand about who you are, because there isn't anyone else out there like you.
Yeah, and when you find out who you are, you know, and you're going through this journey. Sorry, there's a little bug. I look like I'm crazy right now, and it's awesome. We have some people in the chat who've talked about, you know, Candace is on, I think, her 4th site, and Madeline's done 4 or 5. But as you find out who you are, you can refine your site, refine your message, but you can really be fearlessly you. Right. You can be, this is exactly who Jenna Hurd is. When I blog, everybody knows, like, this is it. This is who I am. And not shy away from some of those, the touchier points, or, you know, the crazy awesome points. You know, you can say, this is what I love. This is great. If you're like me, you know, you're going to enjoy this.
But that can be scary.
Oh, for sure.
To push yourself and be really honest about who you are. And if you're participating in the blogging challenge with us, the 6-week blogging challenge that we're doing this week, this is actually what we talked about, was finding your voice and getting real about who you are. And there's some great tips in there from Mary Morantz, who is so good at being authentically who she is and not afraid to be that person. But gosh, it's hard to like come up to that line and be like, okay, I'm going over. Yeah. I'm just gonna be me. Take me or leave me.
Yep. Yeah, and it's terrifying. You know, I'll be honest right here. This is like real truth. I have never held a workshop because I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid that no one is going to think that I can teach them anything. and so, I mean, I feel like in some ways it's healthy to have a little fear. It does keep you from tumbling off the precipice of, you know, bankruptcy. But at the end of the day, you know, when you're running a business, just to start a business is the beginning of living fearlessly. And then each step is taking you closer and closer to your goals. And I do live by this mantra, and I know it's not going to apply to everybody because not everybody's in their 20s. But not so much. When I started my business, I was like, you know what? If I fail, that's cool. Your 20s are for failing. Your 20s are to do whatever you want. But really, if you think about it, even if you're in your 40s and you fail at something.
Whoa. I'm not in my 40s yet.
You skipped an entire decade, Jenna. Time out.
I'm not to alienate anybody.
Roll it back.
But I feel like at any age, you really can't start over. So, I mean, really, what have you got to lose? I mean, money, if you work hard, money comes. It does. And I say that from experience. When 2 years ago, I was broke. I was eating ramen. I really was. I had no money. I was calling my mom to give me money for grocery money, and I never asked her for anything. But when I decided to become myself, my authentic self, success was to be had. But it had to publish on that blog, to share myself, was terrifying. And for weeks, I wanted to go up and delete it. I'm like, okay, not everybody has read this. Okay, I can still take it down. And sometimes I still, 2 years later, I want to take it down. And it's because it's terrifying. But this industry is so personal. It is. You are there for one of the biggest, or if you're a wedding photographer, or even a newborn photographer, family photographer, you're there in one of the most intimate settings of somebody's life. You were let into their life. And so you owe it to your clients to be fearless. You owe it to your clients to be who you are. This world needs more authenticity. People complain about how pissed off they are that no one is nice anymore. No one is kind. Everyone is full of drama or whatever. And as corny as it sounds, you should just be the change that you want to see in the world. I want to see more authenticity. I want to see more honesty. I want people to be more open. And so I do that. You know, I figure if people see me do it, hopefully they'll do the same. And it will improve their lives. It will improve your life if you do that.
It's an invitation. Like, I'm going to be open and honest, and now you can too. And you don't have to be so scared because I've done it first. I've done it for you. And then do you feel like, Jenna, the experience that your clients get to have with you is better for them because they get who you are right away? Like, there's no surprises, there's no secrets. You just are authentically you, and so the expectations are right in line with what actually happens.
I feel like I have some of the best clients. I had an ex who would jealously say, "You have such what did you say? God, he said something. I can't think of it what it is right now, but it was not. He was angry at how dedicated my clients were to me. He was, but I just speak to my clients as if they're my friends, and I tell them I want to be your friend. That is a part of what I want to do. You know, I've done 5Ks with my clients. I've gone to movies with my clients. Gone dinners and drinks and getting way too drunk with some of my clients. Not all clients are that good, but you know, I do leave the door open. If that's something you want to do, I'm totally game. And a lot of my clients are my friends now, and I tell them, I explained to them at the beginning, especially if they were a friend first, I tell them we have friend hat and client hat, and we separate it. So they will email me with the subject line client hat. And then we'll talk about client stuff. And then, like, say my birthday is this Friday. I have some clients coming, and I told them friend hat will be on the whole night. Do not ask me about business, and do not judge me for what I say.
Perfect.
Yeah, and I do. I have these clients that are just amazing. Like, I have clients that they're going to Paris, and they're going to pay for me to come to Paris so I can shoot them, you know. And it's amazing that that I can create this connection. And I don't feel like you could do that if you weren't yourself, if you weren't authentic.
For sure. Yeah. I think that's perfect.
That's
I think
awesome.
that's right on point with, you know, the blogging challenge this week. That's right on point with everything that we believe in here as well.
Totally. So, invitation to get real.
Seriously.
Be you.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Do it.
You are uniquely you, and we believe everybody is creative, but that's inherently in you. And so we are super excited to see what people do with the blogging challenge, and we're really excited for Jenna because you actually have another evolution, right, coming of your business and a little trip planned.
Yes, I wouldn't call it little. It's 4 months and 20 countries.
Yes.
So I'm putting my business on semi-hold and traveling the world for 4 months. So if anybody is out there and they're in Europe, Nepal, Thailand, or Cambodia, hit me up. I would love to hang out and do shoots or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's going to be really cool because I'm going to be rebranding my business to do travel elopements. I want to become the best destination wedding photographer out there. And so this trip will definitely, hopefully get me there because it's really expensive. It's one of those fearless things. You got to just jump in and do it and hope for the best.
That is awesome. Well, it sounds like that would definitely take a fearless photographer,
For
right?
sure.
You gotta have those guts to go into new situations, new countries, not speaking the language, and making beautiful memories.
It sounds great, Jenna. And thank you so much for joining us this week and for your awesome advice and experience. And congratulations once again on becoming Mrs. Jenna Hurd. That's wonderful. So, guys, join us next week, 10 a.m. sharp.
10 a.m. sharp. Without technical difficulties.
Here on Show It Live. And you can definitely check out the 6-week blogging challenge that we have going on. There's an article here on showit2you.com that tells you all about it. But we're in week 3.
We're in week 3. It's not too late though to jump in.
Yep.
If you think you're behind, you're really you're not too far behind, because weeks 1 and week 3 have challenges that just take a little time to think about. Week 2 actually did have a blog post challenge, and there is a prize at the end.
Yes.
And you don't have to do them week by week. All you have to do is have done all 6 weeks of the challenge by the time we get to the end to be entered to win.
Yep. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. Look forward to your blog submissions and all of that fun stuff. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Have a great week, guys.
Bye.